Hello, I'm Ben Spencer, Head of Programme at St George's, Bristol. You're about to listen to one of our listening room sessions recorded a few months ago in our glass studio. These are informal sessions where artists of all kinds present fresh material and talk a little about their creative process. We hope you enjoy it and look forward to welcoming you back to St George's and future listening room sessions when we reopen.
Never thought that I'd have this many friends with tattoos of Satan, but they're the ones who keep me the sanest. And we pass like ships in sporadic winds, so worn out from the labor that we're still not getting paid for. And you bowl in all toxic masculinity, devoid of any concept of consequentiality. But I thrive on the scorned woman mentality, and I'll be strongest when you treat me like I'm weak. I work for the devil dressed in M&S linen. He touches a lot of things, but I don't see any of them moving. He makes fake plans, he ignores bruised hands, but the road is clear, my dear. We're gonna make it out of here. We're gonna make it out of here. The men in suits came in again. They're complaining about their takings while my feet are aching, asking how to make their business boom. Well, maybe not making us work 13-hour shifts might do. And here you go again, you're talking over me. Why'd you see my knowledge as your inferiority? But I thrive on the scorned woman mentality. I'll be strongest when you treat me like I'm weak. I work for the devil dressed in M&S linen. He touches a lot of things, but I don't see any of them moving. He makes fake plans, he ignores bruised hands, but the road has begun to clear. We will make it out of here. Oh, I am working, but all I'm earning are crow's feet and hollowed out cheeks. Oh, I am working, all I'm earning are coffee-stained teeth and crunching knees. Oh, I am working, I'm not earning, no. I am working, I'm not earning, no. I am working, but I'm not earning, no. Yeah, 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 yeah. I work for the devil dressed in M&S linen. He touches a lot of things, but I don't see any of them moving. He makes fake plans, he ignores bruised hands, but the road is clear, my dear. We're gonna make it out of here. We're gonna make it out of here. That high note was a reach today. Sometimes it's a gamble. I'm going to switch guitars.
While Kate's switching, we were just having a chat with her mum, who's here. Hi, Mum.
Vinny!
Apparently, her school music teacher
so
told her she couldn't sing
dyspraxic.
when she was at school. So it'd be nice if she was here now to see this. Because I think
Tell
she
her.
probably can sing a little bit. But you're all right.
Do you know what? It took a lot of work. Thanks, Tom.
It took a lot of work. Did you do a lot of lessons?
I had to sort of get the voice. It was kind of that indie folk singer with a biscuit in the mouth. Do you know what I mean? Not fully pronouncing the words. There was definitely the growing up in London, there was the Kate Nash phase.
Oh, yeah.
That's deleted off the internet now. Ooh. Yeah, this song's called The Hours. I was rattling against the corners of my own existence. Forgot the world was something smaller than another day in the same old prison. I felt the hours, I felt the hours. I will stay inside today and run circles around my crinoline. And I've wished on so many dandelion seeds it would appear they have more backbone than me. I felt ours dissolve in my hands. Minutes flood through the fingers, your seconds too slow to shut, and I can just feel them right now. I felt the hours, I felt the hours, I felt ours dissolve in my hands. Minutes flood through the fingers, your seconds too slow to shut, and I can just feel them right now. I felt the hours, I felt the hours, I felt the hours, I felt the hours. It's all smooth with the two guitars, but forgot to be smooth with set listing, according to the two guitars. But it's okay. I was like, oh, so fancy. It's quite nice to do a sit-down gig. I normally stand up.
It's quite weird to be sat next to someone doing a gig. Not quite sure what
Yeah,
to do,
I
really.
bet.
And I feel like I'm blocking people.
Is it like,
I'm trying
you
to
know-
look cool, you know?
You know when people sing happy birthday to you and it's like,
Oh, God, another line to go.
is it like that, but for
A little
45?
bit.
Sorry.
No, it's nice.
You should
Intimate.
do some interpretive dancing. Up for it?
No, I think I'll just watch. But thanks.
This song is called Sarah Wrench. It's about the grave of a witch in Essex. A contrived sense of earnest, bless you, Jeff, derived from your hyperbolic blockbusters and your dusty old books and those crumbling Crayola waxworks that you drag your children to look at. Hushed stories of torture. In fairy tales, lands of morality are never blurred. But I curse your repugnant sense of morality when you build electricity pylons where gallows used to be and leave it out of the hyperbolic blockbusters, and you whitewash all of the books and those crumbling Crayola waxworks that you drag your children to look at. Reinforced concrete towers. Look down on church spires that cast a shadow on a grave that is encased in an iron cage. Some men will try to contain what they can't obtain and leave an oblique slab of stone to forever tar a name and leave it out of the hyperbolic blockbusters, 'cause they wrote the whitewashed books and those crumbling Crayola waxworks that you drag your spoiled brats to look at. Reinforced concrete towers. Look down on church spires that cast a shadow on a grave that is encased in an iron cage, and it reads Sarah Wrench, 15 years and 5 months of age.
Thank you, Kate. Isn't it cool that we get to hear all these songs that no one else has really heard before? It's great. So that was Sarah Wrench, which is a song that was... You saw the grave of somebody who was buried, right?
Mum took me, actually. It's in Essex. Not in a, weird way. It wasn't a weird family activity.
Come and look at this grave.
It's just kind of yeah. Family picnic. It was just... because apparently there's some long-winded story about our side of the family being descended from witches, so there's always been this like ooh thing.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, so we Mum took me to see it, and it was just bonkers, like how it's this massive like iron cage, and then just this like tiny plaque for this really young girl. And it was buried in the shadow of the church, which meant that she probably had a child out of wedlock. Which is
sad.
yeah, I know. Yeah, it's really, really moving. I've got a picture of it actually. I can send it to you if you want. Go on Facebook. Text me.
So in terms of your song, obviously you saw that and that really kind of hit a bit of a nerve with you because that is quite an awful thing to see anyway.
Yeah.
But I just wondered who or what kind of inspires you to write this way. I mean, is there any big singers or is it your family? I know loads of people in your family are singers, aren't they?
Yeah.
Or has it just come naturally to you to be this kind of storyteller?
I've always liked stories and hearing stories. I've always like had a big interest in that, but I definitely say I've had to work at storytelling. I kind of prefer listening to other people tell stories, because when I tell them, I always ruin it. I never like get the good bits. So I guess writing songs, you can kind of, I guess, choose the best way to lay it out. If that makes sense.
That does make sense. We mentioned earlier you've been writing since you were about 14.
Yeah.
Do you ever listen back to that stuff from then?
Oh no!
I shouldn't say this because people might go and look for it, but some of it still exists on
God.
YouTube and some stuff from when you were a bit younger, doesn't it?
I hope not.
I'm sure you said that not from when you were 14, but
Do you know what? There was that stage when you were like in school where everyone had to make music videos for like A level, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're a singer. Like, let's make a video." And at the time, it's like, "Yeah, that's so cool." But then you look back at it when you're a bit older. I don't think it's because I don't think it's necessarily. I'm not embarrassed because everyone has to start somewhere, but
a little bit embarrassed.
everyone's 15 once.
Exactly.
I guess, and you were saying something about being a writer in the digital age.
Yeah, well, we were talking about this before because you're quite a bit younger than me, and you have grown up, like you just said, making videos. Like YouTube's been around pretty much since you were making music.
Yeah.
So in terms of you making music, you've always grown up with that, access to YouTube and the internet, and kind of like a lot of pressure, but also it's quite amazing how you can just record something on your phone. You've always had that. So I wonder whether that makes you actually, or why do you romanticize about different ways? Because that's amazing that you've got all that, but you released your EP on a cassette, for example, last year, and you love cassettes, don't you?
Not
Well, you don't love cassettes. You put a lot of things onto cassette.
Yeah, so I really, really like the sound of recording onto tape, and I guess the ritual as well of not just sort of... I like records that kind of are in an order and they are a story.
Yeah. I didn't mean I think you like collect cassettes and got thousands of them.
I've got
at home.
20. I am a CD girl actually as well. But yeah, I like the sort of like Centella was in a very specific order. This record is in a bit less so, but it's in a specific order to tell a story and like have.
And
a
you can't
movement
mess
through.
with that if it's on a cassette
Yeah,
so
exactly.
easily.
And there's just something about the sound as well. It's just beautiful. I think the digital age made you. The digital
We'll edit
age
that out.
maybe mumbly is a bit of a double-edged sword in a way, because it's good that everything is so accessible. Like you don't have to have $1,000 to go and make a record because it's expensive. It's luckily I had a dad to record with, very lucky. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a double-edged sword in a way, but I think the fact that it's made music way more accessible is great. Like, yeah.
It must have helped you. I mean, were you putting videos up on YouTube when you were a teenager, and were you kind of able to record your own stuff always?
Yeah, I was. which was really good. Like I will say that I'm very lucky to have grown up with a musical family, because it made everything a lot easier for me, I guess, because there was always someone to teach me at hand, if that makes sense. I guess the pressure was there though, because whenever I was playing guitar in my room, sort of my dad's head would appear around the door and go, "Tune
What are you
in."
doing?
Because I'd be out of tune, or I'd be like, "Dad, I wrote a song," and he's like, "Where's the big chorus? Needs a hook."
Because loads of your family are musical, right? You used to kind of have big musical
Yeah, we did. It was
performances together.
very fun. Yeah, there was. Yeah, I think me and Mum and my sister doing "We Are Family" together by Sister Sledge. On their last wedding, I had a bit too much wine and I had a cowbell. And I think everyone wished I didn't have a cowbell. No more cowbells allowed ever.
How has that been though? Because do you find that you're always having an input from someone on your music, or are they just there for advice?
It's great because I guess you're always really supported and you sort of can ask directions about where to go. I think it's been nice to some extent to find my own way to go, because I've sort of recorded with my dad when I was little, and then when I was in spring break, me and Sean, we started the band together, we made the record in a basement on tape, and it was just a really sort of different way to learn to do it, to be like, you can be experimental and it doesn't have to, you don't need to play to a click, and you can just really, it was quite nice to sort of see the other side of the coin in Bristol, as opposed to sort of learning by the book, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and Bristol's a very DIY city,
It's
and
cool.
I think that's something. I mean, I know you've released through local record label Breakfast Records. Yeah,
Hey-yo.
and I know you are quite DIY as an artist. I mean, you've toured Europe and you pretty much sorted that out yourself, really, didn't you?
Good old Google. I think I sent about 40 emails to get shows and had replies to probably 5. I think that is being a DIY artist. For every 20 emails you send, you get 1 reply, which is fine, but it's hard work, but I think it is worth it. I think it gives you a lot of confidence in yourself, maybe, which is quite a nice thing, and it's you've always got your motivation there, if that makes sense, and the ball's always rolling, if that makes sense.
And I guess there's a lot of people in the same boat in Bristol, and there's a lot of people, I've talked about this on the radio a lot, but it's very collaborative and people kind of work together a lot. And so you're not on your own. There's little groups of people that are always going to help you out with things.
My friend said it's quite, because we're in the Wine Mums, our friend Kaylee plays bass, and she sort of only plays in that project, and she says that people are always really confused when they find out she's only in the one band, because everyone in Bristol's in,
What other bands are you with?
20 bands with everyone, and I think the count was at 5 at one point for me, because I was doing backing vocals for Slonk and Emily Ishwood. So that was, it's really great. It's such a good city to inspire you and to sort of get you playing. So I think I wouldn't really, before I moved here, I think I was kind of dilly-dallying a bit. I was like, oh, this is something I do, but I like doing it and I really like doing it. But I don't think I was very I didn't believe in myself as a musician. But then when I met people in Bristol who were like, Sean from Spring Break especially, it was like, you can do this, you are a musician. And then people will get directly involved with you and be like, I love what you do, let's do this together. And I think it's a really, really great environment.
So in terms of the album, is that going to be quite DIY made as well? How is that being done?
So I'm recording at J&J Studios with a guy called Ollie Baldwin, who has made some really, really great records. He works with Cousin Cooler a lot, and other bands in Bristol too. And it's kind of, at the moment, it's just kind of us in a room together, and sometimes we go a bit bonkers, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it's kind of, it's a slow pace, but it's quite nice to do it slowly. I think when we organised the show, I think it was meant to be done by now, but as is the sort of life of when you're sort of DIY, I guess.
Has anyone ever got an album ready on time? I mean, I don't
No.
think anyone ever.
No.
I don't think Beyonce gets an album ready on time, so...
I don't trust people who have things ready on time.
That's not very musician, is it?
No.
Should we
Rock
hear
and roll, babe.
Let's hear some more music.
Yeah, I'm getting embarrassing now. What am I going to play next?
Trembling.
Oh. Thank you.
That's all right. That's what I'm here for.
This string's always a bit tetchy because it's through it snaps on the peg, so it's through a biro tube to stop it.
DIY.
Woof, woof.
I really love this next song, by the way.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I guess this is the most I've sort of gone a bit wild with structure because it was sort of a big period of change for me where everything was quite unsettled. And I wanted to reflect that. Thanks, Tom. Tom's doing the sound, by the way, and he's really great. And Ben and the rest of the team here at St George's are really great as well. They've been smashing it. Shall we? How can I be expected to clean up after you when the floor is trembling, trembling? How can I be expected to clean up after you when the floor is trembling? I won't explain for both of our sanity's sake. If I don't wear a muzzle, I'll just bite my own nose off to spite my own face. 'Cause words aren't set in stone, they're warped by time and place. If you're strong enough to stomach a blow, it just depends on how many hours there have been that day. Tell me, how do you stop your own thoughts from congealing when even the floor of the service station is shaking? And how can I believe that you've had time for healing when every time I turn my back I just feel your arms reaching, reaching. How can I be expected to clean up after you I bear the brunt of your projection. How can you just expect me to look past poison truths when my back is broken from bending, broken from bending? It was a great idea, this whole two guitars thing, until logistically.
We've got time to play all the songs, I think, by the way. Just to let you know. Yeah, I reckon so.
Ooh,
We haven't got too lost in a stupid Harriet and Kate chat, so it's okay.
that's nice. We do love a good chat.
Do love, yeah.
And I'm in time. We're living our best in tune, even. Hopefully in time. Actually, I'm really in time. We had to play to a click track while we were recording the other day, and the second that the 1, 2, 3, 4 was in the ear, I was like, woo! Nothing was in time. This song is about getting in an argument about sexism and then feeling, it's that, I guess, awkward, it was in a bar called Manos. I don't know if anyone ever went there, but I guess it's that awkward thing where something isn't right and you don't know whether you should say something, and then if you say something, it's a big scene and you feel uncomfortable. It's about whether you should or not. It's a tough one, but you should. And if people tell you you shouldn't, then they can go away. It's called One of the Girls. I can't say I'm proud of my behavior, but being nice never seems to make the need for a change clear. I don't keep a portrait in my attic. I go to this bar and it just reeks of a static sadness and the things I've seen round here. They only fall out of my mouth here, and we shake the suffocation of composure and forget that all we've ever heard is that it's not pretty to feel, and it's not pretty to bleed, and pretty is all I should be. Guess I'm just one of those girls. Guess I'm just one of those girls. Are you making problems again? No one wants to hear a shrieking woman. I'm just one of those girls. hard to pinpoint who's the target. In these late night meat markets, we're all just gunning for blood in a world that leaves us feeling constantly crushed. And hey, if you burn a bridge, well, at least you had the strength to light up. 'Cause the things that I see around here make me wonder why we treat the symptom but not the cause here, as we become bitter with rage from the injustice. Why are we still living like this? But oh, it's not pretty to feel, and it's not pretty to bleed. Pretty is all I should be. Guess I'm just one of those girls. Guess I'm just one of those girls. Are you making problems again? No one wants to hear a shrieking woman. I'm just one of those. I'm just one of those. And how can she ever agree when we have been ingrained to compete? And no, how can he ever see when we're not taught to look equally? Oh, I'm just one of those girls. I'm just one of those girls. Are you making problems again? No one wants to hear a shrieking woman. I'm just one of those girls. Get out of breath.
So that was One of Those Girls, and before that, Trembling. We're going to hear a couple more tracks in a little bit. I just wanted to talk, I know we touched a little bit on your family and your dad, but it sounds like your dad was a huge, or is a huge influence for you, and you've performed with him a little bit as well, haven't you?
Yeah, it was good fun. Yeah, he used to play the guitar with me.
What does
Yeah.
he do? What kind of musician is he?
He's a guitarist, but he does loads of stuff. He's like does production as well. So it was amazing being able to make Santella with him. That was very nice.
In terms of making it with him, like he played on the record or he helped produce it?
Both.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we made it at the back of Mum and Dad's house in... Hey. Chloe's here. And Lucy. Sorry, in Essex. Yeah, that's lovely. I'm getting distracted. This is the thing about gigs. You always see your friends and get really excited.
Do you get more nervous when you see your friends?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a crowd I'll never see again in front of people that like, especially like with a small city like Bristol, because if it goes like not well, and then you'll like be bumping into someone in Tesco's, and be like, no one wants to bump into people in the
Shouldn't go in
supermarket.
Tesco in Bristol.
Yeah, sorry, my local independent stores.
Well, you know you'll always see him, so you're kind of stuck with that, really. But, so in terms, obviously, your dad helped you with the EP. Is he what's he like as someone to work with then? Is he quite critical of you because he knows he can be, or is he, how does it work?
He's very supportive. He's great. But it's quite been nice sort of, I guess, sort of your dad is your dad, if that makes sense, and it's very cool to work with them, but it's also, and it sort of never seemed like working with family, if that makes sense, but it is quite good to sort of stretch yourself and to grow by working with other musicians.
We're going to hear a couple more tracks, and then we're going to have a little break, 20 minutes or so, and come back and we'll hear a couple of songs from Centella, probably. And then this is just a chance for us to open up the conversation, really. So let's hear Hermit,
Yeah.
and then Cycle Killer.
This is a brand new one, and normally I'm very protective of new songs, but Ben wanted this to be a sort of sharing material, so I'm going to play it.
Don't judge.
Yeah.
Do judge.
No, don't judge.
Which guitar would you like?
Can I have that one, please,
Yeah.
Harriet? Thank you very much.
I mean, I can reach you the other one.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm on the radio, but the people are actually looking at
Yeah.
me. It's-
I feel really bad for the people on this side because I always forget that I unconsciously turn to the left. So I feel like I've been ignoring you.
twist
I'm
for a
really
little
sorry.
bit.
Shall I twist?
You could move a little
Smell you later, left side. What's up? Okay. Hello, you look very nice over here. I've been pissing like a racehorse. I can't even look myself in the mirror today. And I tripped over my own feet when I was staring at them, trying to think of something interesting to say. You bewilder my expectations. I stand so steady as I fluster my balance again. And the canvas is soft enough to spit the syllables into place. And I release restraint strong enough to stay when I know with you it gets better each day. I walk in a straight line to your place. And you suit me so well. You be my hermit and I'll be your shell. And you treat me so well. You be my hermit and I'll be your shell. And your endless pools of patience. You learn the song I've had stuck in my head all day. You play the chords, I'll hum the refrain. And I know the bad days will melt away when I fall asleep with you next to me. Let's make plans for the week. And you treat me so well. You be my hermit and I'll be your shell. And you suit me so well. You be my hermit and I'll be your shell. And the morning birds were deafening. Can you blame them when they heard that you were awakening? You heard them singing to the phone this morning. It's 'cause 'cause they heard that you would be coming home soon. And the morning birds were deafening. Can you blame them when they heard that you were awakening? And the morning birds were deafening. Can you blame them when they heard that you were awakening? In a complete change of tone, this song is about when me and my friend Chloe buried a pigeon the other day. Before we go to the break. Someone hit it on Wapping Wharf, and you know that a friend is your gal for life when you kind of grab them and tell them that they have to help you bury a pigeon. No context. Cheers. I might fudge it up. I never play songs this new, but we're going with the theme and then we'll go to the break, so we'll forget it if I mess up. It's so good. Yeah, I guess it's kind of about gentrification. I guess it's like Big Yellow Taxi by Joni Mitchell meets Park Life by Blair.
How?
God knows. Let's find out. Oh, God. I should really talk less. I've even put the cap on the wrong fret now because I'm being an idiot. Oh, that's buzzy. Just going to tune that up a bit.
How did you end up burying a pigeon, or should we wait till
Basically, a guy had hit it with his bike. I heard someone call them a mammal before, when it's a guy it's this capo that's, when they're completely in lycra, like cycling around. I think it was like a Tuesday morning. I don't know. It wasn't the morning, actually, because I was very late to meet you. Yeah, and he'd cycled over it, and kind of everyone outside Makoko's, where you work, was kind of watching it. And then I was kind of like, what's he going to do? Is he going to leave it there? And then he left it there. So we got a Tupperware and a bin bag from Wild Beer and put it in a bush. This is Cycle Killer. I don't count instant coffee in my 5 cups a day. I think it's better for everyone involved, sanity that way. And the doctor told me not to drink anymore after 2 p.m. But if I'm honest, sometimes I can't make it out of bed by then. I am really out of bed by then. It's 18 degrees and it's only February. Summer gives us a tease, it's always so attention seeking, and I should really leave. I've heard it's good for you, that vitamin D. I say I'll be there in 10, but we both know it'll be 15, and if I'm honest, I'm pushing 15, and I always think that storage container shops come to kill a city, but I'm still there buying my takeaway coffee and fancy cheese, and all of the people sat there sipping on their turmeric lattes probably thought they were in some really weird Pigeon with his front wheel. You know he doesn't care, he's gonna tear through the pedestrian area. He doesn't have the time, he's got an hour to beat his best, his 50 miles, and he stood and watched it die at least, and left it there and cycled on by. And he doesn't have the time, he's gotta beat his score of 50 miles. And you know, last week Nigel got 60 miles, and not all birds hide to die. They come to tell us something sometimes. And not all birds hide to die. They come to tell us something sometimes. And I bumped into an old friend, they told me they were finally kicking their cocaine habit. I told him about how we buried the bird, and he said, by now I bet a fox has probably had it.
There's a lot of themes on this album, isn't there? I like it.
Park life. Oh, can you pass me that capo, please? I've got a tune again, I'm really sorry. Bloody musicians. It's always a great idea to write in open tunings until you're actually playing live. And it's just a lot of awkward silence.
Well, while you're doing that, can I just see if anyone, I'm not going to get you to ask it now, but does anyone have questions they might ask in a bit to avoid a massive silence? Does anyone have any questions they want to ask? Yeah? Yeah? A couple people?
You don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to, but okay, that's fine. I'm just checking we're not going to have one of those, like, tumbleweed moments.
Oh.
It's all right, I'll fill.
Yeah. I'm going to play 2 songs off Centella. And then we'll move on.
Did everyone have lunch? Nice bit of cake? Coffee? Good? Is everyone having a nice time? Good. So we've heard the whole album. We're going to hear a little bit off Centella, which is the EP which came out last year.
I've got some copies with me.
Oh, so you can buy one?
Funny you should mention it.
How much are they? Where can we get them?
£5 right there. Or just come and judge me. And through Breakfast Records. I don't know where they are. Has Dan gone? Oh no, hiya love. Yeah.
Have you got anything on vinyl, Kate? Or is it just CD?
Not yet. Not yet. I think there's actually only one cassette in existence, and it's a specialist subject above the exchange. It's the last one. It's a sad day. Does anyone have any particular ones off the record they want to hear, actually? Yeah. Okay.
Requests?
Yeah. Okay, all right. I'll play those 2 then. Thanks for that. That sorted that out. Got this song that's called Potted History of Mum. Well, let's get comfortable. It's a chain of information. I've seen these purse slips down all 3 generations. But the fragments aren't reforming. potted history of mum. I lit a candle for you in the church spires I know that you adore. It only means a thing to me 'cause it means the world to you. I know you've seen each and every one before, but it's all so cyclical. I see your forehead fall when you realize that it's me who's got so tall. In this chain of information, I've seen these purse slips down all 3 generations, but the fragments aren't reforming. Potted history of sugar and cream on strawberries turn into moldy milk in a million cups of tea. They're left cold as your days begin to fold into spikes of hostility. But I know it's not you, it's just the residue left by a callous brood and a generation taught to carry a child so that one day that child will carry you. And 20 lost years they whirl so fast over you. In this chain of information, I've seen these purse slips down all 3 generations, but the fragments aren't reforming. Potted history of love. It's a chain of information. I've seen these purse slips down all 3 generations, but the fragments aren't reforming. Potted history of mum. She turns to me and asks, is that the little girl I carried? She turns to me and asks, is that the little girl I carried? Now we carry. And now the last one, These Planets. Thank you all so much for listening to me. It's a big old set. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. I'd like to dedicate this to Kat, because I know she likes this one. And my mum, who's here actually. Dedicate this to mum. Mercury's in retrograde and I'm still in pain. I came off all the things that were making it so dark in my brain. I need to witches who began this. My ancestors were burnt in tar for their craft, for love. Do we really have to sacrifice our art? These planets, they've planned it. In fluxus with the full moon, I menstruated. Reminds me we're all pawns in the cosmos's game, and gender is not genital. That's a fact we can't escape. That's why I feel so assured whenever it's solitude that I crave. 'Cause it broke my soul, sat waiting for him to come home. And I'm a loose atom, leave me free to roam. 'Cause there's so much to figure out and to know. And my mother traced it out in the stars for me. Last night, Jupiter so silently reminded me. I'll let you live vicariously through me. I may have inherited your pain, but I let it drive me. And I know that I will never be alone. And I've got these words to put the cement in the stone, to help me understand the little that I know. These planets, they've planned it. Oh, I learned that from the witches who began this. My ancestors were burnt in tar for their craft, for love. Do we really need to sacrifice our art? These planets, they've planned it.
Thank you, Kate. It's been really lovely having you play all these songs. It's not very often you get to hear so many tracks along with so much chat, so it's been really lovely. I've been talking a lot. Has anyone got any questions they'd like to ask Kate of anything, really? You know, make it personal, whatever.
Oh no.
I heard there was something over here. Does anyone have a question? Go on.
I feel obliged to ask something now because nobody put down.
Yeah, go on, do it.
I've got two.
Oh.
Okay, one. I think asking what your favourite records is somewhat cliche, but like, is there any records that you feel influence your sound? Like favourite records that you know been a massive influence in the way you play? Or...
I'd definitely say a lot of Joni Mitchell and a lot of Bob Dylan as well. I guess they were kind of the two songwriters that I kind of grew up that really got me into sort of writing songs, if that makes sense, compared to listening to music.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'd say maybe Blue and Blood on the Tracks.
That's
Or
half
Tangled Up in
those.
Blue. Yeah. Oh, I'm
I've
gonna...
got another one. Nobody else. What's your favourite vegetable?
See, I'm a vegetarian, so
There we are.
every vegetable is like a world of possibilities.
What's your favourite vegetable?
This isn't. I'm not playing the guitar here. Like, that's the question.
I mean, aubergines you can make taste like bacon. They're pretty good. And potatoes.
I've
Yeah.
never had a bacon flavoured aubergine. Tell me more.
Paprika, soy sauce.
In a burger,
Sesame
man,
oil,
it's back.
And of course the potato. I could eat every form of potato. Just
I'll be
constantly.
Irish.
Thanks.
Well,
In terms of, just on the back of that, obviously you said
Potato.
Joni Mitchell. Potato. Dylan. What about Bristol artists or people that have inspired you around the city? Because I know that you work
I'm
with lots of people.
so here for this question. It's such a cool place to live in. Like there are so many people like Kat, who performs as Mouse. I met her working with another great songwriter, Emily Isherwood, and then just all of the sort of Breakfast Records team, like Jamie Cruikshank, and then the Langhammer guys as well. Oh yeah, I can't really not say it as well because you're here.
What is it that you like about them, or what inspires you?
I guess it's a sort of songwriting style that's kind of like the music that I sort of would like grew up listening to, like all the like classic like folk and rock and country, and there's almost like a resurgence of that in Bristol. I think in other places as well it's like not cool, and you can't be like I love country music because people would be like oh, but like here it's very much like people are very like willing to sort of look through all genres and try out music sort of free of boundaries and ego as well, I'd definitely say.
What was it like in London? Did you find that it was really different there? Because surely there's lots of different types of music there, and lots, or is it a bit cliquey?
I guess it is hard to say because I like when I was playing there I was really young. It was like kind of the ages of like 15 to 18, and I guess there's only like so far you'll kind of get into certain cliques at that age when you're living there. But I still do. I think there are. It's hard to say, I guess, because I don't actually live there. Like there could be this whole like sort of similar scene happening up there that we don't know about, and there are like loads of musicians I know up there, like John, and then there's a band called Tane, who I'm friends with, and then a songwriter called Hannah Rose Platt, who's a family friend. Like there's a big vibe there, but I don't know whether because it's so big, like in Bristol, you kind of, because it's smaller, you kind of make communities because you're not fighting for attention. Like it's quite sort of. Am I making sense?
Are you not fighting for attention because there's a lot? Yeah, it's really small, but there's loads and loads and loads of musicians here. So is there not? But there's still not that feeling of kind of not competition, but maybe competition.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think because it's. Pardon?
Agreed, massively.
Am I making sense? Yeah. Because it's so big in London, you have to kind of like, I guess, a bit scarper, a bit. But whereas in Bristol, because it's smaller, and there are like really, really great publications, and then like introducing and everything, it's sort of easier to meet people, and therefore it's easier to support people because you're not more desperate to be heard. Does that make sense? Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
Any more questions from the crowd?
Hi.
I'd like to shout a little bit.
You mentioned at school that the music teacher said you couldn't sing. I
Yeah.
was wondering, from the English side, were you like a tortured poet at school? Did they appreciate the kind of use of language back there?
I think at school, I definitely spent most of my time in the art room, not speaking to anybody because it can be savage out there. It was savage out there. So I was like, if I hide, it will be fine. So yeah, I was definitely very creative. I think I never I can remember like writing when I was little, but never specifically like poetry, if that makes sense. I kind of started writing lyrics more. But I definitely was writing a lot. Hopefully not that tortured. And very nice parents. Jimmy. No, but it's definitely like, I guess, the floaty, creative type of teenager. Well, that's a spooky noise. Oh, it's a spooky, spooky noise.
Anyone else? Any questions from the back? Anyone?
I've never done a Q&A. This is quite an experience.
Oh, well done. Yeah, okay.
Really?
Jeff's drawing, by the way, so if anyone wants to see a picture of Kate Stapley, you might get a little sneak preview.
I feel very honoured that Jeff is drawing me. Oh, it's not been announced yet, but it's YOLO. It's gonna be at Colston Hall, and
Yes,
gonna
can we
be.
talk about that? The date and everything of that? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the 27th. Well, there might be something of April. There might be something that I might be involved with, but I don't know. It could be happening at the end of April, but I don't know. Maybe I'll be there. Whoever knows.
So the album is out in autumn.
Yes.
Quickly tell us about the title and how you ended up getting the title for the album.
Oh, it's called Precious Cargo, because my friend, the drummer of Spring Break, actually was giving me a lift somewhere, and he called me Precious Cargo as a joke, but I thought that was a really good sort of metaphor for feeling awkward, especially kind of like sometimes how women get treated. Like, cargo is quite clunky and awkward, but then precious is kind of...
Cool.
Yeah,
I like the
that
title.
was a really bad explanation, I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't. It
You
makes
lost
sense.
me there. But yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, there's a gig that we can't really tell you about, but we've already told you about. Album out in autumn,
Up for it.
hopefully. I just want to give you a massive round of applause. Thank you so much, Kate. It's been...
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Let's hear it for Harriet as well.
So thank you as well for coming. This was a little bit of an experiment, so I hope you enjoyed it, and feel free to give us some feedback on it, what you liked or didn't like. There's going to be more though. The next listening room session is with the Spindle Ensemble on Saturday the 6th of April at the same time, and then there's a whole load lined up for September, including Yoshino from Yamawarashi, Kayla Painter, Andrew Cook, Sean Adicott, Roxana Vilk, so lots more of these to come, a whole variety of genres. If you want to come to the next one, you can get 33% off, which is a third, I think that's what it means.
33?
Yeah. So if you buy it and put the code listening2, number 2 in, you'll get a third off. And yeah, just feel free to get in touch via St George's or via Kate, and let us know what you thought. But I hope you had a great time, and thanks for being really patient
Thank you.
and quiet. So cheers.